14 of the EZNZ podcast.
I just gave you that cheeky look,
Yeah, let's go. Off we go.
We're standing.
We're standing. We really just wanted to kind of move around in our backdrop and like look at all the super cool stuff that we're lucky enough to have. We've got limited edition consoles, all of the limited edition controllers as well.
Got Felix still. Gotta have Felix. I feel like he's becoming a bit of a mascot.
He's a part of the podcast. He's part of the fam.
He's always here.
Some super cool stuff that we have very secretively hidden in this room here at Microsoft. So we wanna showcase it.
Yeah.
I just kind of thought,
I just like this cool stuff. We're allowed. These are all things that were available in retail.
Yeah.
This was limited edition.
Limited edition.
All limited edition 360s. I remember every single one of these coming out, so I was like, it's kind of cool to look
exciting
back
times.
on it.
And it is really nice that we do have all of them in a special place here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're changing it up a little bit today, and ironically, we're actually not going to talk about Xbox this week. With our beautiful backdrop we've got, but we realise we've given Xbox a whole lot of love, so we're giving love to some other things this week. We are going to talk about one of, I think, the most unsung heroes in terms of accessories.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
The Surface Dial.
The Surface Dial. I think that is something that we definitely shouted out a lot when the Surface Studio was released.
And then we kind of went
and then
like
we haven't
total
really
silence.
Talked about it again.
Yeah, and we get asked about it in store as well, right?
Absolutely,
it's like,
all the
Surface
time.
Dial, what does it actually do?
Yeah, my brother has just treated himself to buying a Surface Book 2. Matthew, congratulations, improving your life. But he was asking me questions about the Surface Dial the other day, so it's definitely kind of brought that back to the front of my mind.
Yeah.
So Fletcher's going to take us through some demos with the Surface Dial, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah,
I can see over in the distance over there, we've got a Surface
jet planes
Studio.
Before.
Yeah,
jet
I saw. I was watching Super very like Captain Spirit-esque, actually.
Yeah.
Like, you impressive, clearly formed a bond, didn't
and
you?
I can't draw much better than a 5-year-old, so it works out well.
I can't draw the same myself either, which is why I let you do the demos this week. So we're going to be talking about the Surface Dial. We're also going to be talking about some of our favourite sneaky features within Microsoft Office.
Yeah.
So these are definitely things that I now use in my day-to-day, and the both of us use respectively to do our jobs, to work smarter, not harder.
One that we never used before we got into this role as well.
Yeah, exactly. Very much things that can go under the radar. And as we say, like, we really like to shout out the smaller things that can really revolutionise the way you do things. Because if you're not looking for them, you're never going to find them. So we're going to chat about that. But of course, we always start with question of the week. And this week's question of the week is, what in your time at Microsoft has inspired you the most, Fletch?
Oh, I like this question. I like it a lot. I also feel like this is continuing on from the Captain Spirit adventure of last week.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just...
And I guess the way we extend that to you guys, but the way we extend that to you guys is, of course, in your time working in the realm of technology, what's inspired you the most?
Absolutely, and I think I've got a good answer on this, and I think it kind of, for all of you who are on the Masters call, you'll definitely see this, and what I kind of present to you guys in Dex and what we talk about on this podcast as well, if I'm honest. But
absolutely,
what inspires me is actually visiting you guys or talking to you guys on the phone, through Yammer, through Facebook, and finding out how you use different aspects of Microsoft. So when you go on a store, or when I'm just visiting around the place, I always actually learn something new, because there's someone who uses Office, who uses Windows, who uses Xbox, totally different to how I do. Yeah, or a Surface, absolutely.
Or any of our wonderful OEM products as well.
I remember being on a particular call and learning about OneDrive and how awesome that is on Xbox, which is really cool. And now we use it all the time.
Absolutely,
when we're
to
filming
share
ourselves.
our game footage over.
Yeah, so that was a big
point.
one. But yeah, and sometimes even Microsoft apps on the phone. So I was visiting someone called Kunal. He was showing me all these different new features in Microsoft Launcher, which used to be called Arrow Launcher, which I used to use a lot, but I haven't used as much on my new phone.
Yeah, nice.
From my Shanghai incident. But yeah, it's really cool going out there, seeing how you use it, learning new things, and really inspiring me to then go and deep dive into every little thing that I can to share as much information with you guys, which also links in really to what we're going to be talking about later, which is
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Nailed it.
Nailed it. Oh.
And I think that's like such a powerful thing about technology, right? Is the way that it allows us to do things differently than we ever have before. And everyone does things slightly differently. And I'm very much the same as you, Fletch, and I love hearing about how different people use different things in different ways. There is no one size fits all, but you know, we like to look at it that way, but then with what we can find and what we can share with you guys, that people can adapt that in their different ways as well. So
what's yours? What's yours?
So mine's for question of the week, and ironically, I'm wearing the same outfit that I was on this particular day.
Was it the exact same outfit?
Literally the exact same outfit.
Okay.
I'm going to put a photo in here. I was lucky enough at the start of 2016 to visit Microsoft headquarters in Redmond, Seattle. I won an awesome competition, and once again, like I can't believe it.
I get it. You went to Seattle.
I know, but like, and I really don't want to sound like I'm bragging or anything like that. But in my time with Microsoft, I've been so incredibly lucky with the things that I've got to experience. And you know, I was still quite young. I just turned in 2000. How old am I? I don't know. So
24.
I would have been. I'm 24 now. Yes. So I was 21 at the time. 21. I was pretty fresh. Yeah, 21. I was 21 years old. 22 years old. Just turned 22. Anyway, not relevant. I was still pretty young. I just finished uni the year before, and I won this awesome experience to go to Seattle, to go to Microsoft headquarters, and they took us into Building 87, which is the Surface Design Center. And like, we really had it expressed to us what an incredible privilege this was, because not many people.
I'm totally jealous.
Not many people get to go in this building. So I'll share an awesome article. And
is this the which one?
Yeah, well, there's like a whole article on
really
Building 87. Yeah, and some of the things you get to experience in there. And I think for me, being like pretty fresh to starting an actual career, getting to go to a place like this blew my mind and changed my thought process on the way technology is created forever. You know, there's a whole room full of 3D printers, and they're printing prototypes of stuff, and like the guy leading us around, his name was Bill, leading us around, he'd like go and be like, oh yeah, like I might be able to show you something, and he'd like lift it up and look at it and be like, oh no, sorry, like
not
this
that one.
classified info, and you're like, oh wow, like we found out
so
it was
there was
just
little
after,
like blankets covering it.
Yeah, like just over. There's like a bit that you can peer in to check on the progress. They had like little black screens over it, so we weren't allowed to see anything in that particular room. Was just of course nosy Hannah excited me to my core.
Into like Men in Black type CIA stuff.
Absolutely, there's a whole room with an array of fabrics, like all in a whole like pretty much going to spotlight. Yeah, well, that was just before Alcantara came out. So there's all of these like prototype type covers, and they've got like different coloured fabrics, different coloured keys. And like I'm not kidding. I've been there. I've seen it. You know, there is a place in the world where they look into each teeny tiny fine line detail. There's an amazing like. It's like a high pressured water cutter.
Oh thing. Those are cool. A lot of places use it for fabricating different parts.
So all of these amazing things.
I want one. Can you buy one?
No, I don't think we'd be allowed to do that. But yeah, all of these amazing things. They showed us areas where they'd really isolated pen functionality and palm blocking and all of those kinds of things. Yeah. And for me personally, one of the most exciting things is that there in Building 87, they have the quietest room in the whole world.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to get to it.
And it is the best and worst thing I've ever experienced in my life. So I studied music for 4 years, and I was fresh off the back of this. So I went into this room, and it's negative 23 decibels. I'm pretty sure that's right. I'm pretty sure that's a fact that I'll just never forget.
I think it's negative 23, because negative like 27 is the lowest it'll ever go or something.
Yeah. I'll put in like maybe a little like reference chart here of what kind of decibel level sounds are.
In case you're wondering why I'm going like I've been there, it's because of the kick-ass article. I'm not just living vicariously through Hannah, because I absolutely am.
There is this amazing article where you can kind of live through this as well. But I just remember first stepping into it. Basically, it's like a room, you know how like cheaply you do it with like egg cartons on the walls and stuff as a way of soundproofing. But this is like full-blown foam and like these big shapes. It's under you, it's above you, it's at the sides, it's to the walls, it's everywhere. But as soon as you step foot in this room, you literally hear negative sound. So for example, when you talk, right, you can hear a resonance within your head, you can hear yourself.
Yeah.
That is cut. There is no form of echo, there is no form of resonance. It is the weirdest, most amazing experience. And the reason that Microsoft have created this room is to isolate sounds and creating microphones and their devices. So for example, if you're on a Skype call, you're not going to hear the air conditioning in the background. All kinds of like teeny tiny minute little details. I know I've gone on for a very long time here. I wasn't intending to, but there was just so much on this trip that truly inspired me, and really inspired me to look at things differently, and really kind of allowed me to adopt that mindset of the smallest little things count. Especially in technology and the way that people use them. As Fletch was saying, it's all different. But someone somewhere needs to care enough to develop all those tiny little things. Like one of Fletcher's favourite things to talk about is the kickstand on the Surface Pro. How when it clicks shut,
I do like to talk about it.
It clicks shut and it sounds like a car door because they've moved the magnets around and all of those kinds of things. So those amazing, awesome little details have definitely inspired me, not only in my career but just me as a person as well. So I'm super, super fortunate, and there are some awesome things. As always, we would love to hear from you guys. What has inspired you most about your time working in technology?
And definitely check out that article we'll post above, actually, not below. Above? No, below, below.
Comments, mate.
Below YouTube, above and Facebook. But
I don't know, we'll post you a link. Highly recommend checking it out.
It's like an experience in itself, I'm going to be honest. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'll stop derailing. We're going to talk about the dial.
The Surface Dial.
Oh, well, hello there. I guess it must be time to talk about the Surface Dial. One of my favourite accessories, and something we definitely don't shout out enough. So, as we always talk about, we like to show people how to use things, not just tell them about it. So, we've got a magical podcast, we can do that. Let's talk about the Surface Dial and show you 3 easy demos that you can do with customers in store, and that also hopefully unlock new ways to talk about the Surface Dial, new ways to view it beyond just an artist tool, which it absolutely is. So first off, we're in a humble window screen, obviously RDX, because that is the environment you'll be demoing out in store. But all I need to do to utilize the Surface Dial, even in a just normal desktop screen like this, is I can put it on the screen, as you can see there, push it down and hold it, and you'll see all of a sudden I've got the Surface Dial appearing on there. It's actually sensed, as the Surface Dial does, that I'm in the RDX demo mode. So I might just quickly click on the side and show you what it does from base Windows. So again, you push it down, and you've got 2 options. You can use volume, or you can adjust brightness. So to select those things, you just scroll with the dial, because it's a dial and it turns, and then you just push down on the feature you want to use. So volume, I've selected that. Now I just need to turn the dial and I can make the volume go up or down. Real super easy. Or else, of course, with brightness, select that, and as I turn the brightness down or turn it up, you can see it directly happening on the screen. Now, I don't actually use the dial always on the screen. I place it to the side quite often. I just find that more natural for myself. But this is designed to remind people of back in the day when they were working on drawboards or, I don't know, architecty stuff. But let's look at some of the creative ways that you can use this style. So Sketchables is a free app you can get in the Windows Store. It's on all your RDX devices, and as you can see, you can make some amazing stuff. This definitely wasn't created by me. I am absolutely not an artiste. But when I put the dial down and press it down to select what I want to do, there's all sorts I can select. So stabilization for people with shaky hands, make sure you draw straighter lines, going back and undoing things you don't like, navigating, so zooming in, tilting the picture you're working on, the different brush tools you can use, colors, and all sorts, as well as volume. Volume is always there. But let's start off by drawing something. I want to draw a jet plane, because as we talked about earlier, I'm great at drawing jet planes, and you guys will thoroughly enjoy this. So I've just used the dial to turn down the diameter of what I'm drawing, And let's start getting this outline going. Need to do the cockpit. It's a jet plane, so it's got triangle wings. And voila, I have a jet plane. But I'm not happy with that. Jet planes need to be colourful. They don't have to be blue or grey or whatever. So let's choose RGB. With RGB, that's just choosing your normal colours based off what you kind of have already got selected. So I want to start shading this aeroplane in with blue, and I want to change the colour as I go down so it gets lighter until it gets pink, because that's cool. That's cool. You can see the real nice easy transition of colours. But my jet plane, I don't know if I told you guys, but it's actually magical. So magical jet planes need rainbows coming out of the engine. So I've just selected HSB, which lets you select every range of colours you could possibly want, and I'm going to be a badass just like in the studio RDX video and start drawing a rainbow of fire coming out of the back of my jet plane. As you can see, again, super easy. I'm just turning the dial and I've got this great... Oh my god, that actually looks cool. I'm mildly impressed with myself there. That's how you draw fire. That's how you draw rainbow fire. But like you see, it makes me look like I'm semi-good at drawing, even though I am 100% not. Ignore the jet plane, just focus on the fire. That's the cool part, Mr. Camera Lady. But we want to talk about how the dial goes beyond just that, beyond your basic features in Windows, and helps increase your productivity in the workplace, at school, or just on what you're doing with friends at home. So, here's something I've prepared earlier. It's a fantastic fly fishing document which you can find in RDX. What I want to do here is, first off, I want to really easily scroll through the photos. So again, I'll push the dial down, I'll select scroll, and look at that. I can really nice and smoothly go through all the different pages in this. But you know what? I wanna ink this up. I'm gonna go on a holiday soon with some mates, so I wanna do a little bit of ink replay to show them places that we could possibly go. So let's see, places to stay, circle that. I think Taupo. I think Lake Taupo would be great for trout fishing. So what I want to do now, let's pretend I'm a mate who's received this. I'm going to go to ink replay, and look at that. I can press the dial down and it'll do a full-on ink replay, just like we used to in PowerPoint and Word. Or else, once that's played through, or before it's played through, I can just turn the dial and it'll actually slowly take it back and forward, just like ink replay does in the video, but under my own control. So really cool. The dial isn't something just used for people who are interested in art, who are creatives. It's also a productivity tool and a leisure tool. So hopefully you guys have learned something. Hopefully you can take this and show it in store. Even if you can't unbox one and have a play, at least you can see how it's done and can explain it to a customer. So, catch you in a minute.
Alright, so in our usual spirit of working smarter, not harder, we're going to talk about some of our favourite things in Office that have revolutionised, personally, the way we do our day-to-day tasks. So do you want to take it away with your first? Yeah.
So,
of course, there's many, just saying, Fletcher,
okay.
take it away.
Just take it away and then I'll take it back.
And I'll take it back. But of course, there are so many things within Office that you kind of use an accumulation of everything. But these, I think, are ones that we've found recently, or we've been using for a little while, that are definitely our favourite ways to kind of do those more difficult tasks. Yeah.
It's my turn?
Yes, sorry.
My turn? Are you sure?
70% listening.
No.
70% listening. Okay.
Sorry, we'll stop being ourselves. And
we'll put on a professional.
We'll put on our master trainer time.
Yeah. Right. Go.
Yeah. So what I was going to talk about, and I may have mentioned it to a few people before. Yeah. Is track changes. So track changes is something that I use a lot within Word. Yeah. Because we run a lot of competitions and we've got to write terms and conditions for them. And writing terms and conditions, as you guys, it's hard. And, I love the end product. I don't love necessarily the journey of the terms and conditions to get there.
Because, like, as you can imagine, we have to put stuff through lawyers. As part of what we do. And that is definitely...
where track changes come in. So, the track changes is a really easy way to collaborate with other people.
Absolutely.
So we pretty much put an outline of these terms and conditions together, and we'll send it to a lawyer to have a read through, make sure it's all legal.
We're legit.
We're legit people. So we're making sure it's all legit, and they'll send it back. And what they'll do is track changes will be turned on, and they'll have turned on it to a degree where you can see comments coming down the side.
Yes.
And each comment will link to a sentence, and it'll say, maybe you need to change the wording here. You can't do that. Don't try it.
Don't do that.
It's not okay.
Behave yourself.
Do something else. But that's really cool, right? So I can go and see all their comments, and then I can answer their comments, say, yes, I've actioned it, and this is what I've done. So I'll add a comment underneath. Or I'll say, no, it's not necessary, or yes, this is definitely what I intended to say. So all sorts of stuff like that. So on its own, it's really cool that track changes can go into that detail.
And you can literally... Sorry,
it's stealing my thunder. I'm on my train. My train of thought.
I'm just jumping on the train with you because I believe what you're saying.
Come on board. But so that's one way you can use track changes. But you can make it very, very detailed or less detailed. You can customize it to what you need at the time. So you can have it actually highlight sentences as you change words, which is really cool. So if I've typed in a sentence, it might turn green the first time to say I've actually added something to it. It makes it really easy for someone to go on a document and be like, bam, there, that's what I needed to look at.
Absolutely. I'm so glad I didn't interrupt because that's what I was going to say.
That's what you're going to say. That's good.
And I think, a great example of, obviously Fletcher and I work together all the time. So on written form, we very much understand the context behind what we're saying. Sometimes we'll put together things that are maybe a little bit too elaborate and don't quite make sense. So it's a great way to kind of put what you're doing out there and get kind of someone else's third party viewpoint on it, and actually physically seeing that as well. I think for me, the reason that maybe I've shied away from using track changes is because it can look quite overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. When you've got a full document with changes left, right, and center, things highlighted, things commented, you're kind of like, but you can really easily turn off changes so you can just read the document as it will appear in its final product as well.
Absolutely. You can turn it off, and then you've got just what it normally looks like.
Absolutely. So that's one use for that kind of thing. I remember the first time I encountered track changes and comments and stuff on documents is actually when I was in uni and I was working on an assignment, and you're never too old to need your parents' assistance. And I sent it to my dad to be like, hey dad, I'm really proud of this assignment, but I think it can be even better. What do you think of it? And I got it back from Dad with all of these comments to the side, and I was like, what is this? This is crazy, but this is super useful.
You ruined my assignment.
Paul Reynolds, calm down. But I think that's a really cool way to use it as well. So any kind of collaborative environment, a way to offer suggestions, a way to make changes. But when you're working on something together and you go ahead and you just change something, you may not realise. For whatever reason, maybe the changes that they made we disagreed with. So we were able to see what had been changed. They'd left a comment as to why it had been changed, and we could either accept or negate that and go with it in that way as well.
Cool. What about you?
What about you? Absolute favourite feature. I'm stupidly excited about this. This has been a feature update through Office 365, and it's within PowerPoint. So you guys can imagine that we use PowerPoint all day, every day. We do so much presenting as a living, and we present on Windows, Office, Surface, Xbox, all of those kinds of things. We have heaps of snazzy presentations, but we do it in a lot of different environments. So there is this new feature called Reuse Slides. Super helpful. So it's done via artificial intelligence. So what it will do is, for example, I'm putting together a presentation on Windows. I've added a couple of slides in. I hit reuse slides, and then in a wonderful side pane, those side panes within Office, I love them so much. It'll recognize previous PowerPoint presentations that I've put together and will give me the option to open those up and reuse those slides in my new presentation.
That actually is
super helpful. Like we're really spoiled and we get to use multiple monitors here in the office. So usually before this feature came in, I would have like 6 different PowerPoints open, snapped side by side, like really attempting to work smarter, not harder, and pulling these things up and kind of having everything open and going through all of my files and kind of checking that out. Now Office does that for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And even when we're making reports, because we do a bunch of our reports in Outlook, which is when templates in Outlook are super helpful.
Great point.
But also, sometimes we need to do it in a different format. We do it in a PowerPoint. We'll quite often save it as a PDF and do all sorts of stuff. But of course, when you're doing a report and it's a monthly report, you reuse the slides every time. So
absolutely. But you only use it once a month, so that's not something frequent.
Yeah.
So being able to reuse slides and have that in there. So good, super helpful. And once again, something that if you don't know it's there, you're never going to go looking for it, but it can absolutely change the way you do things and let you work smarter, not harder.
Okay, guys, I think we talked about some bloody marvellous stuff today.
Bloody marvellous. Kind of looked at you, I was like, PG podcast, but never mind.
PG podcast, I didn't swear properly. Is that still a swear technically? That's okay.
I feel like it's just
you guys will forgive me.
A very Kiwi adjective.
A very Kiwi adjective.
I wonder, this is going totally off topic, but keeping it kind of relevant. If you were to put that in a sentence and then use learning tools or through Edge,
Learning tools are bloody marvellous,
and then you highlight adjectives, would it recognise bloody as an adjective there?
Let's test it out.
We'll find out. We'll find out. We'll let you know.
We'll give you the answer. Only the best facts from us. But yeah, like
say things with gusto and confidence, and then check later. We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
This is going to be really embarrassing if we're wrong.
It is. Well. Maybe we'll get a comment and we'll get educated. But no, it's been marvellous. I got to play with a Surface Dial again, which I haven't done in a while, but I think I did all right. I'm going to take a dial and I'm going to use it to try and edit this podcast. Because I know I'm watching the RDX video once again off in the distance, the studio's over in that corner, and Premiere Pro is something that appears. And I know that a lot of Surface accessories have been developed in conjunction. I'm going to watch you do this.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite interesting.
But yeah, I'd really like to see how that functionality works. Of course, the dial does adapt to all of the different apps that you kind of put it into, as you've seen through.
I'm so curious now.
Just lovely demos. Yeah, I'm real curious too.
Yeah.
And as you guys know, we always challenge ourselves to use these things and put them into practice. So we can kind of deliver you guys the most genuine and honest feedback on things and how they work. So I might update you next week on how that little challenge went for me. But
as always as well, make sure you guys let us know what some of your favourite Office features are. Some of the sneaky Office features you guys love. Because as we said in our question of the week, we love hearing about them. It inspires me to find out more. And on that note, answer the question of the week. Let us know.
Absolutely. Let us know what in technology has inspired you.
Definitely.
Because we love feeling inspired. And there's so many awesome things out there. You know, we've seen so many amazing stories in accessibility and that adaptive controller from Xbox and things like Project Emma and all of those incredible, inspiring things. I wanted to use all of those in my answer. And obviously I put it side to side just to throw them in there at the end. But so many amazing and inspiring things that technology has allowed people to do in that time. So we'd love to hear from you guys.
Love to hear from you. But until then, pew 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 pew.
I like that you're just going with it. This is the thing.
Yeah, you'll get the noise and edit it in there eventually. I'll be looking forward to it.
You've done it too early. Like we haven't said goodbye yet, so it's going in.
I built it up. But yeah, as we were saying, pew 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 pew. See you next week.
See you next week, team.